The night was darker than usual. A heavy silence wrapped around the city, as if even the wind was afraid to whisper. In that silence stood a man. His name was Eric Kahn. His eyes burned like fire, but his soul was colder than ice. Once he was a man of love, trust, and loyalty. But tonight he was nothing but rage. "They took everything from me. My love, my dreams, my life," he whispered, his voice broken yet powerful. "And now I will take everything from them." That was the night the world first witnessed the birth of the Dark Revenger. The backstory, before the darkness. 2 years earlier, Eric Kahn was a different man. He was full of hope, carrying dreams bigger than his own hands could hold. He worked in a growing business firm, saving every penny to one day build his own empire. He wasn't rich, but he was respected. More than anything, he was loved. Elena, the woman who owned his heart, and Ryan, his childhood friend, his brother by choice. With them, Eric believed his world was complete. He laughed freely, he trusted blindly, he loved deeply. But life had already written betrayal into his fate. Shadows of doubt. Late-night phone calls that ended when he walked into the room. Whispers exchanged between Elena and Ryan when they thought he wasn't looking. Moments that felt too strange, but Eric brushed them aside. "They're my family. They would never hurt me," he told himself, ignoring the quiet storm building behind his back. But storms don't ask for permission before they destroy. The foreshadow. One rainy evening, Eric stood by his window. The city lights glowed like scattered stars, and he smiled to himself, dreaming of tomorrow, a company with Ryan, a family with Elena, a life full of love and loyalty. But in another part of the city, glasses clinked in a private toast. Ryan smirked, his eyes dark with greed. "To our victory." Elena's lips curved into a smile that was colder than winter. "And to Eric's destruction." That was the night that the world first witnessed the birth of the Dark Revenger. Chapter 2. The morning was bright, but sometimes the brightest mornings hide the darkest truths. Eric walked into the office with a smile, holding files for his new project. He had spent weeks preparing, believing this project would be his step toward success. But what he didn't know was that his own best friend Ryan had already stolen everything. The first cut. Business betrayal. Inside the boardroom, Eric's name was missing. The project, his project, was presented under Ryan's name. Eric's heart stopped. His hands shook as he whispered, This is my work." But no one listened. Ryan looked him dead in the eyes and smiled, that wicked smile he had never seen before. The board members clapped for Ryan, celebrating his brilliance, while Eric stood there drowning in silence. It was the first stab in his back. The second cut. Love's betrayal. Later that evening, Eric rushed to Elena, desperate for comfort. He thought at least she would stand by his side. But when he entered her apartment, he froze. Ryan was there. Elena was in his arms. The world collapsed in front of Eric's eyes. The woman he loved, the brother he trusted, together. Elena looked at Eric without a trace of guilt. Her words sliced deeper than any knife. "You were too weak, Eric, too naive. Ryan is the man I need, not you." The fall. Days turned into nights, and nights into endless darkness. Eric lost his job, his reputation, his love. His friends abandoned him, his dreams were shattered, and his life became an empty shell. He wandered the streets alone, broken, forgotten by the world. But pain has a strange way of transforming a man. Every night he whispered to himself, "Why me? Why did they do this? Why did I trust them?" But slowly those questions changed. They turned into a vow. "They destroyed me. Now I will destroy them." The transformation begins. On the outside, Eric seemed gone, but inside, something was reborn. The man who lived for love and trust was gone, and in his place, a shadow began to rise. The dark revenger was taking shape. Chapter 3. Darkness can either break a man or it can rebuild him into something unrecognizable. For months, Eric Kahn vanished from the city. No one knew where he went. No one cared. Ryan and Elena believed he was gone forever, another broken man, destroyed by betrayal. But in that silence, Eric was not dying. He was transforming. The training in the shadows. Somewhere in the outskirts of the city, Eric lived in a small, forgotten house. Days turned into nights as he drowned himself in pain, rage, and memories. At first he wanted to give up, but every time he closed his eyes, he saw Elena's cold smile, Ryan's mocking eyes, the betrayal that burned his soul. That pain became fuel. He began to train. His body, once weak, became harder, stronger. He studied business strategies, hacking, and even the art of manipulation. He learned how power truly works in this world. Every cut he took while training, every sleepless night he spent studying, was another step toward his rebirth. The mask of a new man. Months later, Eric Kahn was gone. In his place stood someone else. A man with no weakness, a man with no mercy, a man who would never trust again. The city would not know him as Eric anymore. They would know him as something darker. The Dark Revenger. The Return. One stormy night, Ryan sat in his luxurious office. He had taken over Eric's dream company, stolen his wealth, and Elena was now by his side. He thought he had won. But when he entered his office that night, a file was already waiting on his desk. Inside were pictures of secret deals, illegal transactions, and evidence that could destroy him. His hands trembled. Who did this? On the last page of the file, a single line was written in bold red ink. Did you really think I was gone? The Dark Revenger. Ryan's blood turned to ice. For the first time in years, he felt fear. The hunt begins. From that night, the city started whispering. Strange accidents, anonymous allegations, powerful people exposed, secrets destroyed in the dark. No one knew who was behind it, but Ryan and Elena knew. Eric Kahn had returned, and this time, he wasn't here to forgive. He was here for revenge. Chapter 4. Revenge is not always taken in one strike. Sometimes it is played like a game, a slow, dangerous game where every move cuts deeper than the last. The Dark Revenger knew this well, and now it was time to begin. The first move, breaking Ryan's empire. Ryan Malik had built a business empire on stolen ideas and dirty money. He believed himself untouchable. But one morning, newspapers screamed a headline, Ryan Malik accused of fraud and illegal deals. Secret documents had surfaced, exposing his darkest transactions. Clients pulled out, partners backed away. Ryan roared in rage. Who dares do this to me? But deep down, he already knew. Only one man could strike him this perfectly. Eric. Or rather, the Dark Revenger. The second move, shattering Elena's illusion. Elena had chosen Ryan for his wealth and power. She enjoyed her life of luxury, wrapped in diamonds and lies. But one night at a grand party, her worst nightmare unfolded. A video played on the giant screen. It showed Elena's secret messages to Ryan during the days she betrayed Eric. Her cold words, her mocking laughter at Eric's pain, all of it exposed in front of hundreds of people. Whispers filled the hall. Eyes of judgment burned into her. Her face turned pale, her pride turned to dust. Elena screamed, "Who did this? Who is behind this?" And from somewhere in the darkness, a voice echoed in her mind. The one you thought was finished. The third move, fear in the night. Ryan and Elena began to live in fear. Anonymous letters arrived at their doorstep. Their phones rang with silent calls in the middle of the night. Every shadow in the street felt like a pair of eyes watching them. They couldn't see him, but they knew he was there. The dark revenger was everywhere and nowhere. The message. One evening, Ryan returned to his mansion. On the wall, written in blood-red paint, were the words, "This is only the beginning." Ryan's heart pounded. Elena sobbed in terror. For the first time, the powerful betrayers realized they were the hunted now.